What is the biggest backstab a friend has done to you? I had two friends over on a weekend. My parents were gone. They knew about it, and it was fine. I was 17, and they were both 16. After we went to bed, one of my friends got up and let a girl in that came over to see him. She was 14 and had a crush on him. He gave her a bottle of champagne my parents got on their wedding night. It was 25 years old. He got her drunk on that, and some whiskey. They had sex and fell asleep. The next morning her dad was pounding on my door screaming about the cops and killing me. I opened the door and told him I didn't know him or his daughter. She came out and left with him. He took her to the hospital and they did a rape kit. She didn't remember having sex. The cops talked to my two friends and one said we were asleep, and the one that had sex with the girl told the cops he thought I woke up and let the girl in and had sex with her. Cops showed up at my work and arrested me. My friend used a condom with the girl, so there was no DNA. I got to spend the night in jail. I wouldn't talk without a lawyer, and it pissed them off something horrible. The girl remembered having sex with my friend and that I was asleep the entire time in a different room, and so was my other friend. They dropped the charges and let me go. They arrested my friend that slept with the girl for giving a false statement, and a few related things. Her dad had to be restrained because he wanted me thrown in jail. I was 17, so I was the only one old enough to be charged with statutory rape. He wouldn't accept it when the cops told him that there had to be sexual contact for that. I didn't have a job anymore even after the cops had to go apologize and explain what happened. They made a huge scene when they arrested me because they thought a 17-year-old had raped a 14-year-old drunk girl. I also found out that when you get charged with a felony as an adult, it doesn't go away when they drop the charges. It was a long and expensive pain in the ass to get my record cleaned up so I could pass a background check. I personally don't have a good one, but if you were to ask my great-grandfather when he was alive, it was when his best friend sold him out to the Nazis over a girl. He spent several years in Buchenwald and Mauthausen cause of that. Jesus, I think this is the worst one here. I'm sorry that happened to your granddad. I hope that prick who sold him out got what he deserved. He was the town snitch and got about 30 people sent off to the camps. Being a small town, the people finally figured it out and they grabbed him and hung him in the town square. Told me at wedding reception he was fucking my bride and had no plans to stop was confirmed. What the fuck? Did he want to die? Apparently procreate. They have 3 kids now. That's just all sorts of weird. Why would they wait until a fucking wedding reception to pull this stunt? Did they hate you that much? That is just messed up. Please, tell me no one likes them anymore. Wife had life insurance policy on me. Yes, he family is that fucked up to do this. They terrorized me after all kinds of sicko, unbelievable, awful shit. Prior, her mom sued her therapist for their lesbian affair and got good coin 3 years before. I was friends with the only girl in my school who wasn't white. We loved hanging out together. The only time I was sent to the principal's office was because I punched a girl who was making fun of her skin and hair. The next year another girl enrolled with a similar skin color. I noticed that she didn't invite me over anymore, and only talked to me in group discussions in class. When I asked why she didn't want to hang out anymore, she told me, "Because I found someone more like me." When I was in 5th grade, I'd walk to school with my 3 friends. One day, there were 4 of us, not odd because sometimes someone joined us. About halfway to school, one of my friends said, "Okay, stop," pointed to the new guy and said, "Now?" This new guy, who was way stronger than me, beat me up. When I was on the ground, my now ex-friend walked up and explained that I'd pissed him off. He explained what it was, but I've forgotten since. But I recall it was petty, so he got the other guy to beat me up. By the way, our other mutual friend stood there looking very guilty the whole time. So, I stayed on the ground as they walked away. Got up when I knew they were gone. Went to school and got through the day. Never spoke to them again except in passing in high school. In high school reunions, I've had the opportunity to ask why that happened, but some things are just so beyond you leave them alone. However, the guy who looked guilty has always been over-friendly to me. I think he still has regrets for letting that happen, because he didn't stay friends with the other guy for long after that. A few years ago I had an iMac that I was selling because I had just bought a fancy new PC that I was going to use for gaming. I had it listed on various sites for around $1,800, which was a fair asking price for the model at the time, and had gotten a few bites, nothing concrete. A then friend of mine asked if he could buy it, and he asked if I could do a mates rates deal for him. Being a good friend, I obliged, and sold it to him for $1,500. It was a little less than I wanted, but hey, it's only money, and I was happy to see it go to a friend. Not 2 weeks later, I ask him how his new iMac is going, and he tells me that he sold it for $1,850, making a cool $350 profit. When I asked him why he sold it after asking for mates rates, he said yeah, but I never said I was going to keep it. Total scumbag. I later learned he's the kind of person who'd sell his own mother for a 10% discount. When I was around 16, I came out to my best friend as bisexual. I had been attracted to women since a very young age and was ready to open myself to a same-sex relationship. A week later, all of our friends were being particularly nasty to me, and I couldn't figure out why. Turns out my best friend had told everyone else that she was bisexual and that I hated her because of it. She also told a whole heap of other seriously fucked up lies over the years, but this one took the cake. But why would someone do that? Because they are a cunt. Several of my friends fucked the girl I was dating while I was dating her. What made it worse is that she was fucking them, but she wouldn't fuck me. She confided in one of my friends, who subsequently told me that she could never have sex with someone as fat as me. She was basically fucking everyone but me. I later found out that I was her beard of sorts for her father. She had an unwanted pregnancy before we started dating, and her father would constantly grill her about whether or not she and I were having sex. So she could legitimately tell her father, no, because we weren't, but she loved fucking, so she was fucking a bunch of my friends instead. I met this girl who was a friend of a friend, seemed like a sweet girl, a few years younger than me. We ended up becoming friends. It turned out she was pregnant, and in a terrible living situation. Like, the roaches were trying to eat her at night bad. No way I could let her stay there, let alone bring a newborn there, so we made a deal. I needed someone to watch my kids while I was at work, keep the house picked up, make sure the kids were fed, etc., etc. She came to live with me and my 2 kids with the understanding that she would take care of the kids and the house while me and so were working full-time. I bought everything the baby needed, was there when he was born, helped teach her how to take care of him, got her clothes and everything she needed. Far above and beyond our deal. It wasn't long at all before she wasn't doing any of the things she was supposed to. She'd cook for herself, and leave my kids to fend for themselves while she laid in her room and watched Netflix. She'd trash the house and never clean it. I, of course, got sick of it and gave her a month and a half notice to find a job, somewhere else to live, and get out. Needless to say, she never bothered to look for a job. She seemed surprised when I did indeed kick her ass out right before Christmas, which I had bought her kid presents for. She ended up going to stay with her grandparents. Almost 6 months later, after refusing to talk to me all that time, she got a hold of me to tell me to gather up her things because she was going to have a couple men I'd never met come to my house and get them. Bitch, what things? Aside from your clothes, that you took with you, and the baby things that I bought for your kid that you also took with you, you don't have shit. Anything that could have possibly been hers was long gone. My home is not a storage locker. She blocked me on everything and bad-mouthed me to a few people, but everyone was already aware of how worthless she was, so. I think I'm still a little bitter. My best friend let me crash with her after I was able to escape an abusive, and nearly deadly, relationship. She was married, and while her husband was deployed, she cheated. He found out. I'm guessing the neighbors tipped him off since they knew him well enough, and she was convinced I had told him, so she kicked me out, then proceeded to go to my ex-abuser's work and tell him where I was. That's really fucking terrible. I'm sorry that you escaped a toxic relationship only to be betrayed by a toxic friend. She was awful. After that, she hacked into my email account and sent messages to all my clients. I'm a cosmetologist, saying horrible things about me. About 70% of my clientele walked. The other 30% stayed, but it took years to build it back up. All because she couldn't keep her legs closed. A friend went on vacation to Florida. A group of other friends burglarized his home. They blamed me for robbing him. Little did they know that I was gone to Texas when this all occurred. Fuck them. Did your friend blame you? No. We were playing ball at a local gym when we got back when he pulled me to the side and told me. He said he knew I was gone, but he wanted to let me know what type of people I was hanging around with at the time. I later verified it through other people who said they were saying the same thing. I pretty much stopped all contact with them then and there. I had a fucking amazing group of trusted friends. Some were from kindergarten. I left home at 17 because I was gay, and everyone, not some or most but all, turned their backs when I visited. They were scared others would think them gay. I was home for Mom's funeral. This is the main reason I stayed closeted for so long. I'm sorry, in my experience I got very lucky and all my friends love me regardless of my sexual preference. I have awesome friends now, in new city and new life. But with Facebook, even old ones that turned away back then have now admitted they may have lost a good friend. I'm easygoing and was a loyal friend. Thank you for replying to this. Makes a difference in my heart. Ty. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.